Hi, you guys. It's Alexandra Harbushka, host of the podcast Life with Herpes, and welcome to today's episode. I am always excited to be here with you, and this is one of my favorites because it is the Ask Alexandra hashtag Ask Alexandra section. So I love it because I get to talk to you. You get to ask questions. There is no stupid question because I probably have the same question, if not somebody else that's listening has the same question. So these are all great questions. If you're wondering how to submit your question, head on over to lifewithherpes.com. On the homepage, you can scroll down. There's a section for you to submit your question. It is a Google Google form. So you fill it out. You can submit as many questions as you like, and it's fun. So I enjoy receiving the information. So thank you for sending them in. Before I start, I want to make sure that you are a member of the Facebook group, and it is uber duper super secret. So we keep it, I really want to protect your integrity and make sure that it is secret so you feel comfortable in that group. So head on over again to lifewithherpes.com. It is on the homepage. Join. I have to manually accept you because it is secret. So I go in and I check and I add people throughout about every day, every other day I go in and check. So keep in mind it is some turnover time to do that. Okay, without further ado, let me get into today's question. So this is from Brittany from Birmingham, Alabama. So welcome, Brittany. I have not been to Birmingham, Alabama. So I don't know. I don't think I've been to Alabama. Should I come? Should I come visit? Anyways, so your question is great, and I'm really glad you asked this question. So the question is, do the sores only show up on your genitals? So when we're talking about genital herpes, there is this, so I'm a visual person, and I get an idea of where I think herpes is going to show up. So before I was diagnosed with herpes, and before I had personally seen it on myself, I thought that it was only going to be on, the penis and right kind of in the vagina, near the opening of the vagina. Anywhere else, that would just be, a ingrown hair, a pimple, irritation from underwear or something like that. So I really had no idea. And I'm so glad, again, like I said, Brittany, I'm really glad you're asking this question because the answer to that is no. The sores don't just show up on your genitals. So just to give a breakdown of what the sores look like, or to give a breakdown. So they can be you can have a single sore, or you can have clusters, which means, a grouping of small little blisters. These blisters, as we know, they are painful. They can be very painful, and some can be less painful, but they're filled with like a fluid. If they get to that point, if you don't take an antiviral or kind of nip it in the bud, but they can get to the point of having the cloudy, liquidy, I don't want to say pus, but it's just a liquid that's filled, and that's where the big viruses can spread. So when you have the pus, that's like a warning sign to spread that. So just to give you a breakdown, so in men, genital herpes, the sores can appear. Now, here's the big one, inside the penis. So when we say inside, it means inside the urethra, which is, I'm gonna be very graphic. So that's inside the hole where a man urinates or ejaculates. So it can be inside there. It can be on the penis, which that's what I always thought where it would be. It can be on the scrotum, in the groin and thighs, buttocks, and around the anus. So in other words, for men, genital herpes can be anywhere in the genital region. Thighs, butt, so thighs and butt, that doesn't, before I knew about genital herpes, I would have never looked at a man's thighs and thought that was herpes. I would have looked at a man's thighs and thought, oh, that must just be an ingrown hair or something. I don't know. But just keep that in mind. Now for women, these blisters can appear on the labia, which are kind of the outer, I guess, flaps of the vagina, inside the vagina, so inside the vaginal canal, on the groin and the thighs and the buttocks and in the anus or on the anus. So it is not as common to have the genital sores inside the vaginal canal, but it can happen. Typically, the herpes virus, like the men's inside the penis, it's not as common. The virus will prefer the area outside, but it can happen. Now, of course, we have different sexual activities like oral and anal, and it is possible to get the genital herpes in the mouth and on the tongue. That's not very common to get it in the mouth, on the tongue. It is a little bit more common to get it on your lips, aka oral herpes. But I just wanted to let you know, yeah, it is quite rare to have the transmission inside the mouth, but I really wanted to make sure that you are aware of that. When women, so when it's inside the vaginal canal, it can be really painful for women. When our cervix can inflame, and it can just be a really uncomfortable situation for women. I'm assuming for men, when it's inside their penis, that would also be a really uncomfortable situation. I don't know from personal experience, obviously. But if someone's listening and goes, oh my gosh, that's where I have my outbreaks, like let us know. Yeah, definitely let us know. Reach out, join the Facebook group. Let us know how that impacts you, because I'd love to do an episode just dedicated directly on that. So Brittany, I hope that answers your question. And here's the important part of it is the herpes virus. If you think about theory of evolution or whatever, it wants to survive. So yes, does it prefer the actual like vagina and penis? Yes. But if you're going to give it an opportunity to live near there, then yeah, of course, it's going to pop up. It's like us. Like we all want oceanfront or waterfront property, but we all can't live on the water, right? So we're going to buy a house maybe close to the water, right? Maybe a mile from the water. So look at that with your legs, the thigh area, the butt area. It's kind of like buying a house a mile from the water, right? The sores will pop up where they can. I also want to say I have heard of them popping up even up to the belly button. So that's kind of a large range. So if you just think about sex, and when you have sex, there's a lot of play going on, right? It's not just your genitals are just not the only two things on your body that are touching. There's other areas in the body that are touching. So just keep that in mind. That gets into why one of the biggest myths are that condoms will prevent the transmission of herpes. They do protect, and I highly recommend using them. So I'm not saying don't use them. I'm just saying that if you are in that situation where you're saying, I used a condom 100% of the time, how is it that I have genital herpes? This is why. The sores don't only show up on the genitals. They show up in the genital region. All right. I hope that answers your question. Have you downloaded your free book? I don't know. Have you? It is the 9 home remedies that I've put together. I use it. I refer back to it. I had a fun time putting it together. So head on over to lifewithherpes.com, download it, and I cannot wait to see you all soon. Keep sending your questions. They are awesome. I love them. And thanks, Brittany. Everyone be like Brittany. Be cool. Send a question. All right. Have an awesome day. I will see you all soon.